Hi, folks. Welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch. It's getting warm again today. Yesterday was really nice, very cloudy after the rain shower, but starting to warm up again. Probably going to get some more rain before the end of the week, but then next week, it looks like a hot one next week. So if you're here in the Ozark area, you should probably get ready for the heat wave that's coming next week. At least that's what's being forecasted. Remember that this weekend, if you want to attend, it's our monthly meeting. Always a good meeting. Always good. You can meet lots of people. The people that come, if they sell things, they have little tables they'll set up and sell things. We have a free table. We have a community seed bank. It's very family friendly. It's a potluck, and usually 150 or more people will show up. So definitely plan on attending. Same time, same place if you've ever attended before. So it should be a good one. They're always fun to reconnect, and it's just like a family gathering, every month. So anyway, so there's a lot of stuff going on. I got some notes here off to the side if you see me looking over there, because there's just so much. And I certainly don't tell you these things to get you terrified, all the time. Oh, it's fear mongering. Oh, fear mongering. No, it's not fear mongering. There's certainly some people that do that. They'll tell you the sky's falling right now. I'm telling you the sky's going to fall at some point, because the system as a whole can't contain this many cracks in it without it falling. But, it doesn't mean it's falling today, and it doesn't mean that that's the end of all be all, apocalypse that we're all going to die. It just means that we need to be smart. We need to be smart, level-headed, and prepare for the trials and tribulations that we will be facing. A lot of stuff going on, though. The economy, I don't listen to what, the mainstream and all this stuff tells you that, oh, it's all fine, because we know it's not fine. The housing market is horrible. Right now, they're saying that you would have to make about 80% more in an annual salary. So about an 80% more annual salary right now than you would have in 2020. So we're talking just 4 years. So in 4 years, you have to have made an 80% more salary, 60 to 80. I've seen a couple of different numbers, to purchase the same kind of home. It's because housing prices are just ridiculous, interest rates up, all of that stuff. And it's crazy because there's also a gluttony of houses for sale on the market. In fact, there's more houses for sale on the market right now than there has been since 2008. And it's the amount of houses that's being purchased is the lowest it's been in a long time. So, all the numbers are just kind of upside down on that. And that's just an example. Another indicator that came out today is that the probability of recession before the end of this year is 63% right now. There's several other indicators out there all kind of lining up with this. And then there's also whispers in the news and whispers amongst the BRICS nations and stuff that this year's BRICS summit, they will unveil their plans for their new gold-backed currency. So all of that, it's telling us that the economy's going to hurt, the dollar's going to hurt, and it's just ever increased possibility of war, big war. Of course, there's been several more in the last couple of days in the news of violent acts done by illegal immigrants on American citizens. I want to keep pointing that out, that they're just adding up, and it's getting worse and worse, and it's because there's more and more of them. Even if you said a huge majority of everyone that comes across the border are good, kind, hardworking people, I don't believe it's a good majority of them, but I believe that there's probably some. Not everyone can be a bad apple, right? But even if a huge majority was really good, there's still so many coming across the border illegally that even if it was a smaller percentage of them that were bad actors, bad apples, that's still a lot. That's a lot more criminals, a lot more violent people on the American streets. And we're seeing that. We're seeing the crime rates increase. And another, don't believe the Biden administration when they tell you that crime has dropped. Crime has not dropped. The only reason why they're saying that is because they're going by FBI crime rates. FBI keeps usually excellent records on that, except there are several big cities that are no longer reporting their crime rates to the FBI. New York, LA, several others, they're not filing any reports with the FBI. And so the crime rates that the FBI has, they look like they've gone down considerably because they're removing some of the largest cities and most highest crime cities in the United States. So yes, of course, it causes the crime rate to drop. So don't believe that garbage either. The stuff going on, also economy. Walgreens has announced that they're closing a bunch of stores, potentially up to 2,100 stores. Very possibly close to 60,000 employees will be laid off because we have such a great economy, right? Also today, there's been major cell phone outages for AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile, the three big cell phone companies. I find that a strange coincidence that all three of them are experiencing widespread outages, and that doesn't mean it's a complete blackout, but widespread outages all at the same time. Is it a terrorist attack? Is it our own government, running some drills? I don't know, but it just seems strange. I'm sure they'll tell us that, some utility line in the middle of nowhere, Nebraska or South Dakota or something got cut, and it caused, cell phones for, 70% of the country to go down. It's usually something like that. But I just pointing that out, strange stuff going on. In the Middle East, things are heating up. And I know we've talked a lot lately about what's going on in Russia and Ukraine, and that's still heating up, very much so. In fact, Zelensky's talking about how they're ready for a peace deal. They're ready for this to stop because they can't sustain this war. They don't have the manpower to sustain this war. And there's more and more incursions into Russia or on Russian territory by Ukraine using U.S. weapons. And as all this starts to happen, and as Ukraine starts to talk like they're gonna cave in on this, you're gonna see more and more odds are increasing of NATO and the United States moving against Russia and doing something to provoke to where they can justify going directly on with them. But in the Middle East, things are heating up also. United States intelligence is reporting that the war between Israel and Hamas in the southern Lebanon is very close, and that if a peace deal is not negotiated between Israel and Hamas in Gaza, then there's a very likely chance that in the coming days or coming couple of weeks that we could see a war there. There's unconfirmed, remember, this is unconfirmed, so I can't tell you that this is absolutely true, but I've seen a few places online reporting that Iran and Syria are planning on sending troops into southern Lebanon and possibly are already there. There's been some vague reports that they have been seen, and we're not, these could be Iranian-backed militia, but the reports is that they are actually Revolutionary Guard troops that are going into Lebanon to fight alongside Hezbollah. And Israel, in fact, it was Benjamin Netanyahu, I believe it was today or yesterday, said that if Iran isn't stopped, that they're going to have total control over the Middle East, that they're going to rule the Middle East if they're not stopped. So this is crazy. Now, in other unusual news, the United States is making a decision to take all the U.S. Patriot missile systems meant for Israel and send them to Ukraine. It's just strange because Israel is apparently getting ready to go to war. And also that in the last 24 hours or so, all of the missiles and rockets that's been lobbed at Israel from Hezbollah, about 50% of them actually made their targets. So their Iron Dome is either weakening or the technology that's being used by Hezbollah has increased. Because there's more missiles getting through, more rockets getting through. And Hamas says that they have hypersonic missiles now, I'm sure from Iran. So there's a lot of stuff like that going on. It's crazy, right? It's like this tense. And then, of course, I guess there's the debate. Is it tonight, tomorrow? I don't know. I don't follow this stuff. I really don't. But I'm sure that it's going to be interesting. I'm sure that a lot of it's going to be staged. I'll be honest with you. I don't care. Mostly I don't care. And it's not because of specifically the candidates or specifically the election process. I don't care because where are the people in this country that are undecided at this point? At this point, I mean, really? Because of the divisiveness and the very different appearance between the two candidates, Trump and Biden, are there really undecided voters that, I mean, it's the debates are just being done for entertainment. I can't imagine that there's anyone out there that's really unsure of who they're going to vote for. I mean, if they are, as far as I'm concerned, they don't need to be voting. But then again, I'm not really big on the voting process either, because the Declaration of Independence says that governments derive their powers by the consent of the governed. And if you think about it, folks, there's only one singular issue that both the left and the right, the Republicans and the Democrats, support, and that's get out the vote. Get out and vote so you can give us our power, basically. I don't know. I'm a little bit more cynical than the average person on that. But anyways, so that's going on. I'm sure it's going to be quite the entertaining show for anyone that chooses to watch it. But at this point, even if Trump's the great good guy that everyone believes he is, or a lot of people believe he is, and even if he's able to get elected, I don't think that even he has the ability or the power or whatever to actually change things. And I don't know that he even has the understanding. I think he's still looking at most issues through the lens of standard party politics kind of thing. I don't think he's seeing that America's collapsing. And at this point, it's probably not going to be stopped. It just needs to have the right hands at the wheel directing and guiding it to the softest landing possible. And no one, of course, is talking about that kind of stuff. I'll leave you with this. I talked this morning about community. I talked about getting along, communicating with each other, being able to be civil, being able to somehow come to a trustworthy relationship, and to be able to communicate in a way that's not going to cause problems, because once everything hits the fan, we're going to have to learn how to do that. And a lot of people always have some pushback about how bad mags are, how bad communities are, how they've had bad deals with them. Absolutely, I get it. Why do you think I started my own? Because every one that I'd ever seen or participated in, I just couldn't stand it. And it's not because I'm such a great leader or anything. That's not it. That why ours is successful. It's because we have a different vision of what we're doing. We're not a mutual assistance group of just random people that have said, okay, we'll come to each other's aid when things get tight. We are a group of people that's coming together and building basically a community as kind of an alternative. I mean, we're strengthening the existing community around us, and we're doing this with the idea and the intent that things are going to fall apart. And so we need to be strong enough and independent enough, self-reliant enough to be able to stand on our own. So in a sense, we're really building an alternative type of system, is the best way to describe that. And we're doing it with the idea and the intent of creating like family-centered communities. We're doing really not much different than what has been done in America for the last 200 years, up until maybe a half a century ago. And that's why America, I believe, one of the main reasons, maybe not the only reason, and maybe not the top reason, but it's definitely one of the big reasons why America rose in prominence and strength and stability so rapidly. And we're just trying to reinvent that, right? Just do it again. That's all. And I think because of that, because of our focus and our center is different, it brings about a different level of success. And so that's where I always try to encourage people to do that. You're not just random people coming together and say, all right, we're going to ride this out. We're acquaintances. Maybe we'll be friends, but we'll agree to come to each other's aid. No, it's got to be different than that. It's got to actually be a community. You put an emotional effort into something, right? It's like your own family, or you start a business or whatever. You do something, you put your blood, sweat, and tears. You have an emotional connection to that. And that way it means more to you. And you're going to do more, go to more great lengths to protect that, to make it successful, than if it's just, a pact between people, an agreement between people to come to each other's aid. And that's really the big difference. And so I want to encourage those of you out there that's either seeking or trying to start doing something similar to what we're doing, of community building, because it's the best way to survive what's coming. Keep those things in mind, that it can't just be an agreement between people. It has to have a focus of God and family-centered families and community that's there to mutually build up an area so that it's self-sufficient on its own. It's a functioning, existing community that's able to exist, if necessary, outside of a collapsing system. And I think if you do that with that kind of focus, then you'll see a whole different level of success. Folks, it's time to get your houses in order and to prepare yourselves mentally, physically, and spiritually. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.